Hey guys, welcome everybody.
Hi,
Happy
everyone.
Thursday. How are you all doing?
Good.
Karen, Tobias, Deepa. Cool. Right then, guys. So we will do today. The plan of action is I've just got a little bit of a training to go through to start. Just a bit of a short one, really. Just a couple of things that sort of things that I want to touch on that I think will be valuable for everybody here. Once we've gone through that, we'll open up for most of the session today. We'll do Q&A. So I know it's been maybe the last 3 of my sessions I think have been trainings now, so just want to give a chance for us to open up for some Q&A there. So we're already on record here, so I'm just gonna sort of jump straight into it. Like I said, if the last 3 of my sessions have pretty much been or trainings specifically around sort of how to structure campaigns, budgeting, things of that nature, which is obviously I think one of a lot of what most of you guys in here have sort of been struggling with or had questions about. So obviously I'm going to allow today, if anybody's got any questions about the last few sessions that we didn't get to, we can dive into it. Just before we do that though, a couple of things I sort of wanted to jump into is we sort of touched on it briefly in one of the last sessions, which was about a lot of the things that external to ads that have an impact on the ads. So, one of the things that happens when a client comes to us is obviously the first port of call. They're hiring us as sort of ad experts. Is people will come to us and they'll think, right, first port of call is to get you guys to come in and look at the ads. But oftentimes the first things that we want to look at are things like, in addition to the ads, are going to be things like website conversion rate. What is the offer? What's the USP for the business? What makes them different? What big problem do you solve? What social proof do you have? What's your lifetime value? What's your AOV? What's the repeat customer rate? Because a lot of these numbers actually have a bigger impact on the ad results than the ads themselves. So I want to dive a little bit into some of those here today. And like I said, then we'll sort of open up for some Q&A after the fact. But first things first, that we didn't really touch on too much in the last session was around average order value. So obviously the average order value for all you guys in here is going to be different. Some of you guys are service-based businesses and it'll be a little bit higher ticket. For some of you guys, it's going to be, for some of you guys, it's going to be a lot lower, maybe sort of a few bucks an order. And obviously, next to your average order value, you've got your lifetime value. And that's a mixture of what's your average order value and how often do they transact with you. So, if you guys sell something a little bit higher ticket, maybe like a service, it might be that you have a $2,000 average order value. For some of you guys, it might be that we have a $50 average order value, but we transact on a, weekly, monthly basis. The big thing for us is, and this is a general rule of thumb, by the way, guys, but, just to give you an idea of what we really want to look towards is we try to make every one of our clients, where possible, to have at least a sort of £50 to sort of $75 US dollar sort of kind of range for average order value. We find that this kind of number works incredibly well when it comes to allowing our ads to break even on front end. Because, Facebook itself is a CPM based platform. So we pay for our impressions. We pay to be in front of people. And the the CPMs on Facebook, we do have some control with it in terms of who we target and our quality rankings and our engagement rankings and, how good our ads are. So we do have some control of our CPMs, but we can't make our CPMs $2. We can't make our CPMs, really, really cheap all of the time. So that means there is sort of a minimum cost there, really, that it's going to, cost for us to get in front of people. And we found that the higher an order value that our client has, the easier it becomes to get profitable. And obviously, order value can be made up, and you can increase your order value by simply increasing your product prices. You can increase your order value by creating things like bundles. You can increase your order value by adding upsells and cross sells. But just some food for thought for you guys in here that I wanted to touch on today is, if your order value is not at least sort of 50 to 75, £50 to 75 US dollars, something around those kind of range. If it's lower than that, I'd really be looking at things that you can do to get that up above those range. But perfect example I can think of is a client we're working with right now. I think I gave this example last week. They were selling a product. It's pretty much a pure product. It's a digital product, right? So it's pretty much 100% margin besides some processing fees. They were selling the product for $27 originally, and we were like just below 1x. Some weeks we were like right at 1x return on ad spend. Some weeks it was just below, really inconsistent, like just struggling to make it. What we did is we created a very, by the way, we tested tons of creatives, all the important stuff that we've been speaking about here in the live calls. We tested tons of creatives, but for those guys, we went away and said, hey, Steve, look, we need to get our order value up here. So can we try an increased price point on a bundle, which is actually $99 for, a variety of different products, an increased value of what the product was. They sell like social media templates, like Canva templates for businesses. So we said, right, let's create a big bundle-based product for $99. We've started running ads on that now, and it's immediately profitable. Same targeting, same everything, fairly similar copy and creative. It's just now targeted to the bundle rather than the individual product. And because our CPMs remain the same, because our click-through rates are remaining relatively similar, but it's just a higher price point, we're now profitable. And there's an example where we've done tons of creative testing, tons of structural change. We've tested different audiences, everything, and we just can't quite make it. Something external to the ad has actually been the thing to take this campaign into a position where it's now profitable on the front end. And obviously, we're now requiring customers profitable, and we can retarget those people to buy upsells, to buy other things in the future there. So average order value, £50, which is about 75 USD or so, roughly around that range. If you're below that, look at ways that you can get that up. Okay. The other thing, we've worked with clients before where it's considerably below that, but their lifetime value is high. So we've worked with energy drink businesses, things where the transaction value, the order value is fairly low, like $20 at a time, but people will they're consumable. So people will just transact on and on and on again. So those type of businesses, interesting to work with, because although you might not be able to necessarily do tons to increase order value, we're breaking even on the front end on our first acquisition, but we know that people buy and buy and buy again. So because of the lifetime value, we're happy to do that. So yeah, a couple of things there is average order value. You can get that up. Upsells, cross sells, bundles, minimum shipping, like free shipping thresholds. So stuff like free shipping over $50, things like that will incentivize people to just spend a little bit more money. Okay. We can do a deeper training on AOV in the future to really break that down and break down some good examples. But yeah, really, really be looking at how you can get your order value up. There's going to be a big impact on your results. And then second to that, your lifetime value. So if you can't do tons to control the transaction value, what can you do to get people to transact more often with you? And one way you can do this is you can have ascension offers off the back end. So once they've become a customer, can you ascend them into something higher ticket? Maybe if you're a service-based business or a coach or something like that. Maybe if you're a consumable-based business, like I've just mentioned there, or something that depletes, can you get people on a subscription basis, right? So we've done it before where we've set up campaigns where, we've worked with clients where we've recommended they set up things like subscriptions on their website to get people to, again, increase lifetime value, which is, people getting on a subscription, perhaps saving 10%, but they get their product every month, every week, every few weeks, whatever, you know. So stuff like that is, can you set up subscription-based stuff? And how can you get people to transact with you more often? If you're an e-commerce business where you can do different launches and different product drops, things like that can work well. But yeah, AOV and lifetime value are going to be incredibly important. We'll dive deeper into those in future sessions, but those are some things that I want you guys now going away and sort of really, really looking into, okay? The next thing that I really want you guys considering, this is going to, by the way, all of this feeds into your ads. And these also might be things that you can do to help improve ad results, okay? The next thing is going to be your offer, especially when it comes to, you know, having an irresistible offer. You've got a few things that, you know, make an irresistible offer. Obviously, you know, the main thing for the most part is going to be having some kind of risk reversal attached to it. So it's really, really crazy. We've worked with a lot of online coaches. We've worked with clients before where we've had ads running and we've been running through these advanced funnels. So, we send people to a webinar that's a 2-hour webinar training. At the end of the webinar training, you know, they get all these text and email reminders, and then they get follows up and book sales calls and all this stuff. And then like, it's just so messy. And then finally they become a customer. What we found is when we changed some of those consultant businesses to have an irresistible offer, we could just run ads straight to the booking, like completely cold audience straight to book a call, because the offer is irresistible. And an example of this was, we worked with a consulting business. They had I think it was a 12 grand product, I believe, was their like entry level product, right? So it's 12K. And they essentially helped accountancy firms add about $1 million in annual recurring revenue to their business. So they, before we're doing this thing, like I said, to a webinar, warmed them all up. At the end of the webinar, they could then book a call, and then they go through an appointment setter into a second booked call, and then that second booked call they could purchase the product. So really, loads of steps, really messy. We recommended they added some kind of risk reversal to the offer because they were struggling with close rates. So we were like, we guarantee you X result. So it was like, we guarantee you at least, I think it was, we help businesses add $1 million in annual recurring revenue. And, we guarantee you at least make your money back on the investment in the program, or like we refund you the money plus $1,000 or something like that. Right. That offer became so good that not only did their close rates go up, but we then transitioned the offer. So we were running ads directly to the core booking. So it's literally a landing page with a 2-minute video on the top that said, hey, are you an accountant business? Do you struggle to grow your revenue? Would you like to guarantee increase the profitability of your business? Would you like to add an extra 7 figures in annual recurring revenue? Well, guess what? We help people just like Steve do that. Book a call down below. We'll speak about how we can help you. Really, really simple, straight to calendar booking. And the results were incredible. We were paying about $200 a booked call, and they were closing about, because obviously considering no shows and stuff like that, 1 in every 5 or so people that actually booked a call ended up converting as a client. And a lot of the reason that was that, like, a lot of people just no showed as well. So, we were paying about $1,000 in acquisition, but for a $12,000 program. And off the back of that program, they had ascension offers and loads of stuff to increase LTV. So they're making a 12x return on ad spend, cold, direct to product, no crazy funnel. All right. Again, a fairly extreme example, but that's an example where the offer itself will really pull people in. So I know, we've got people like Ed and Chris here, for example, who have, the Snore Pillow. One great thing that I've seen on their, messaging now is, saying stuff like guaranteed to, have to stop you snoring or you get your money back, So imagine that you go to buy a pillow, you're unsure whether you should buy it. And someone says, I'll tell you what, I guarantee you that you're going to stop snoring. Well, if not, I'll give you your money back. Well, it's impossible for me to say no. I've got that problem and you're guaranteeing that you're going to solve it. Stuff like that. And you probably see tons of ads at the minute. You've got to be careful with what that offer looks like, because you don't want to overpromise. You don't want to, it's got to be something that you can fulfill as a business. But if you can add any type of irresistible offer to your business, then that's going to have a great impact. So yeah, it's not just coaches. Like I said, Ed and Chris have got the ecom business where they do it. I've seen it before where it's, just satisfaction guarantees. you're guaranteed to absolutely love this product. If not, you can send it back within 14 days. And this type of messaging is really good in your retargeting ads because you call it risk reversal. It's like, why would somebody not buy? Well, somebody might not buy because they're worried perhaps that it's not going to give them the desired outcome that they please. So adding that kind of risk reversal attachment to it, 30-day money back guarantee, 14-day free trial, money back if you don't get the outcome that you want. Stuff like that can be incredible. And we've also worked with clients where this is less powerful, but stuff like we guarantee you to get you X outcome, or if we don't get it in X time frame, we'll work with you until we do. So guaranteed to help you get to 10K a month in your business in the next 90 days, or we'll work with you until we get you there, kind of thing. So there's loads of variations, but offer is really, really, really powerful. Okay. And it doesn't just have to be consulting and coaching businesses. So the better the offer, the better the conversion. And ideally, this messaging can work well in top of funnel. So especially to those problem aware group of people, we guarantee to solve X problem. If not, you get your money back. Works really well. And even in retargeting, it's like, free trials. Hey, did you know that if you don't absolutely love it, you can send it back, no questions asked, within 14 days. Stuff like that in retargeting is powerful because you're removing the risk for them. Okay. So offer is the second piece of the puzzle there, external. The next thing that I want to discuss about in this session is your US, what makes you different. Now, this is another big factor to ad success that, I've noticed in the 7 years of doing this. I found, my gut sense of whether a client's going to be successful tends to be, right a lot more often when the product is completely different or has something that makes them completely different, especially with something like Facebook, where it's an interruption-based platform. Let's say you sell a product. It's not simple for you anymore to just say, "Can I sell fleeces?" Loads of people sell fleeces. What makes your fleece different? Okay. What makes you unique? And you have to lean into that within your messaging. You have to lean into that in your messaging. There's, it could be something as simple as, price. Sometimes I think we are the cheapest of this. I don't always love cheapest, but cheapest is an option. You've got the absolute best brand. You've got something that nobody else is doing. The more unique you are, the more you can lean into what makes you different, the better you're going to do. And what's really interesting in the coaching and consulting world, you can call that almost like, people love like a new opportunity, they call it. So, we've worked with clients before where we'll essentially rebrand the same product. So before we even look to run ads, we'll come in and say, look, you've got this product here, but I want to just slightly rebrand it. So to give you context, I know a person who had an agency program, and basically they taught people to run marketing agencies. And essentially their initial hook was like, we will help you like get your marketing agency to 10K a month. Okay. So it was like a pretty standard beginner based offer. If you're at 0, we will help you get to 10K a month. We came in and said, look, your offer at that point is really not that different to everybody else that's got an agency program. You teach people specifically though, how to get clients without cold calling, any cold outreach. You teach people how to, build an audience on social media and get purely inbound based traffic. So what makes you different is that you help people get their agencies to 10K a month without cold calling, any cold outreach, So we leaned heavily into the introvert based angle, great for introverts. We leaned heavily into no cold calling, no cold outreach, have these leads, coming to you. That was what made them different to the other agency programs on the market. Okay. Same product, but just packaged slightly different. So I really want, all of you guys here to think, what makes my business different? Why would somebody purchase my product over my competitors? Okay. And the more you can lean into that in your ads, the better. And I've seen this with our customers time and time again. I gave the example, one of our clients, I think last week, where I said we took them from 0 to 40K a month. And we did so first 3 weeks with no sales. Then we changed the creative, and that creative basically worked, and it took them to 40K a month. For context, that business was a business that sold outdoor gear that was colorful. So their angle was no more gray, boring outdoor gear. Go out and go out and wear, express yourself, express your colors, like with the mountain apparel. So their whole angle was no more boring gray mountain apparel. They leaned into what made them different. Okay. And that really, really helped. And the more we got that uniqueness across in the first 3 seconds of the content, the better the results were. Okay. So USP, what makes you different? Lean into that. All right. Really, really important. Next up is going to be really important. Again, it's going to be around sort of social proof. I think another big factor to why somebody will transact with you and your conversion rates will be better external to ads is going to be the proof that you have. Okay. And there's several ways that you can sort of add trust signals to your site. There's several ways you can build that authority. One of which, the most powerful of all, testimonials results, really, really powerful. You have to think, the team are sick of me using this analogy here, by the way, but I love it. When people pay for a flight, they pay to be in the destination. They don't pay to sit in a metal tin. I think it was Hormozi that said that, right? And ever since he said that, it really stuck with me. It's like when people book a flight to Thailand, they don't pay to sit on an aeroplane for 12 hours. They pay to be in that destination. Okay. So testimonials showcase exactly that. Your customers aren't buying your product to really have your product. Everybody buys something because they want a desired outcome. They want to solve a certain problem. They want to feel a certain way. They want a desired out. They want to be in a certain place. They want that desired outcome. Okay. So the more that you can showcase that desired outcome from other customers on your website, the better. Okay. So testimonials, specifically videos here, work great. So before and after style stuff works amazing. And the more specific the testimonials and results can be around that problem solution, as opposed to just best product ever, great customer service, those things work well. It's good to know somebody has good customer service, but imagine a testimonial that actually said, this lip balm completely transformed my, I was struggling for 3 years with cracked lips. I used this lip balm and it went away forever. That testimonial is so much more powerful than just great customer service, love the product, came fast, because people want to be in that outcome. Okay. So the more social proof that you can build, specifically outcome focused testimonials on your website, using them in your ads, the better. But again, the reason this is external to ads is even if you don't use them in your ads, even if you just have them on the website for people to see, it will help build trust, it will build authority, and it will help people realize, and it will remove sort of the idea that it becomes a risk, right? People are like, oh, I don't know if this actually works. So that's one way. Other trust signals, PR is great. The more I've been in this game now, like, I feel like everything I knew before I got into marketing makes me realize like everything seems almost like a lie, right? But PR, like, most of the time you see a blue tick on Instagram as well, especially now with the Meta Verify. But before, even half the people that have got bloody blue ticks on Instagram, half of the websites you see that have been featured in Entrepreneur magazine or featured in Cosmopolitan, featured on this TV program, most of the people have obviously used, have done PR for that, right? They've had paid PR. But sometimes you just got to think how if you transacted, went onto a website and it said tons of testimonials, over 5,000 5-star, or like, tons of 5-star reviews. You've got PR featured in these places. It builds immediate trust. It gives you social proof. Okay. Even stuff, sometimes we've seen higher conversion rates on like people's websites, even from just having like live chat and stuff like that. It's like, even that's a trust signal. The fact they can talk to somebody, works incredibly well. We've added the little buying. I can't remember what the software is called, but there's a software where it pops up on, you've probably seen it a lot, where like every time somebody transacts, it pops up saying, Steve bought this product 12 hours ago, 7 hours ago, 6 hours ago, and it pops up in the bottom corner. Stuff like that they're all social proof. It's all trust signals designed to help you build trust to you have confidence in buying a product. So again, that's going to be another large reason for why your business external to ads will have more success. And obviously, if you're a startup business and you don't have that yet, no problem. But let the call to action and the takeaway for you from this session to be, go away and ask your customers. Okay, ask your customers for videos. Half the reason a lot of you guys probably don't have as much testimonials or social proof as you should is because you simply haven't asked for it. Okay, really, really, really powerful. If you can do any PR to help with that, that will also really, really help in building the trust. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about, external, really, really important though, is going to be conversion rates on the website, conversion rates on the funnel. Honestly, the amount of times, we've worked with businesses and on the surface, it's like, why aren't my ads working? And we've got incredible creatives, all this stuff. And then you look into it and maybe it's a website conversion rate issue, or perhaps it's, a lead-based business, and you look into it and you've got, I was actually speaking with somebody in the sales team the other day, and they said they worked at a company before where they had a 95% no-show rates on booked calls. So maybe that you could argue perhaps some of that might be to do with ads, potentially, quality of leads, things like that. But that could also be, something to do with the funnel. There may be rooms in the funnel for improvement. So just a couple of things, again, this isn't going to be a funnel debrief masterclass. We can break this down in further sessions again, but just even something small, like we noticed, so at Heath Media, I'd actually have to pull up this. I'd have to speak to Ben to get the exact numbers on it, but I think these are fairly accurate. So we had about 70% or so show up rates on our agency booked calls. Okay, so that's like, again, if 10 people booked a call, about 7 of them would show up on average. Okay, and this was like over months and months of data. We then changed it. So upon booking the call, on the Calendly booking where they actually book the call, there was a checkbox. And on that checkbox, we just said, will you 100% show up for your booked call? If you don't, we don't allow reschedules. And there's a box where they have to type yes. Okay. That one change in itself shot up the show up rates. I think last month we were about 90% or so show up rates. So it's about 20%. So now out of every 10 booked meetings, another 2 show up. If the close rate holds strong, that's multiple more clients every single month. So that you could sit there and say, oh, my ads are too expensive, my ads aren't working. Well, maybe you've got a show up rate issue on your leads. Maybe you've got a close rate issue, and you might need to go and identify that. But there's just one example where something external to the ads, my ad costs are all the same. I'm still booking the same amount of meetings with my ads, except now I've got 2 more bookings. So 2 more show ups. Okay. And across all those show ups at the end of the month, if you've got a 30% close rate, you add up the maths there, your return from ads is way higher, but you've actually not done anything with your ads. Okay. So the takeaway here for funnel steps is really important to break down. If you have a funnel-based business where you've got, lead, maybe booked call, maybe lead form booked calls, show up to booked calls, close rates, whether you've got whatever your sort of funnel looks like, maybe it's lead and then you call them back. You want to track every single percentage on every stage of that funnel and look for the discrepancy, because so many times people would just look at the ad cost and be like, oh my God, I'm paying $1,000 per close. I can't believe I'm spending so much. But the issue there isn't that you're paying that much per close on the ads. It's that your show up rate's terrible or your close rate's really bad. Okay. Maybe you need to give your sales team more training. Maybe you need to increase your show up rates. Maybe it is an ad problem, but oftentimes that side of it isn't. Okay. And if anybody wants a deeper training on maybe like, this will be a bit more of like a business and salesy style training, but what we do as a business, and this will be more beneficial for the lead gen type companies here, but what we do as a company when we work with clients in terms of helping with close rates, helping with show up rates, helping with making sure, book rates, things of that nature, we can definitely go through that. But that's an example, something external to ads that will have a big impact. And then on the flip side to that, you've got the e-commerce side. So the equivalent to that for e-com is going to be what is my website conversion rate? So from how many, when people get onto my site, what percentage of those are actually converting into customers? We've got, a client right now where I actually think our ads are really, really solid. It's a high ticket product, but, we're going through a complete CRO like tear down of the website, because they've had the website for about 2009. So what we're talking is like 14 years. So the website's basically 14 years old, right? So they've been doing this, they've really not made many adjustments on it besides maybe some product picks in about 14 years. The website converted really well 14 years ago. The same amount of traffic's not converting quite as well these days. And I think, last month web conversion rate was like 0.1% or something like that, like really, really, really low. We're pretty confident that our targeting's solid. The ad creative is really good. Outbound click-through rates are looking solid. But upon looking into the site just the load speed on the website is like incredibly slow. There's not enough product pictures. There's no trust signals. There's no testimonials. And it almost looks a little bit outdated and scammy. And the customers are just dropping off. That is not an ad problem. That is a website conversion rate issue. And again, we could do full sessions. We're planning to even bring on some CRO experts to do full-blown sessions with you guys in the future. But an industry average, by the way, is about 1% to 3% on an e-commerce website. That's the industry standard. Naturally, the higher ticket the product, the lower that percentage. So we've got clients that have like a 1% website conversion rate, but make like £1 million a month in sales because they sell like 500, 600 pound products. So obviously there are levels to it. If you sell we've also got clients that sell I think they've got like an $8 average order value, but again, they sell like tons of like repeat purchase, but they've got something like an 8% website conversion value. So website conversion rate. So obviously, there's scales to it all. But as a general rule of thumb, if your website is below 1% conversion rate, then you probably need to look at making some optimizations. And I do actually have, and it's not like I said, I'm not personally like the number one world's biggest expert on CRO. I definitely know a little bit about CRO to be able to, support you guys, but I'm not by any means as much of an expert in that as I am with sort of paid ads and strategy. But I do have we have a sort of SOP style doc that we use at the agency, which is like a sort of checklist, like a best practice checklist. So if you guys want that, I can literally duplicate that tonight and send that across in channel for you all. And it will just break down for all, it basically breaks down homepage and product page and what you need to look, just sort of like, I think it's about about a dozen or so for each of best practices. And it's all stuff like, is the offer in the hero section of the page? What's the load speed of the page, things like that. So I'll send that across after the session. But yeah, that is also a huge part of what makes up the success of ads, is actually going to be your funnel conversion rate and also your website conversion rate there. Okay. So you can see here, like, and obviously there's tons more, there's tons more of that, right? Just seeing if I've missed anything else here that I had written down. Oh, the only other thing I would say, and obviously there's tons more to this, but the only other one thing I wanted to mention before we then go into a bit of a Q&A for the rest of the session, is the other thing to consider here as well is obviously about your actual profit margins. Again, I've never ran an e-commerce business myself, so I'm by no means an expert to say, hey, how are you going to go and improve those? Obviously, negotiating with suppliers and stuff like that's obviously going to be a big one, but the more margin you can have on your products as well, the more money you can spend to acquire a customer, essentially. And obviously, the more money you can spend to acquire a customer, the more chance you have of being profitable. So it's all well if you've got like a $80 average order value, but you make, I don't know, $20 profit, like, gross profit per order, if you make $20 profit per order, but you've got an $80 order value, well, really the number that's important from a paid ads perspective is $20, because if you get a customer for $75, it's not, you're not making money, you're losing money. By the time you've paid out, by the time you've ordered and shipped products, you've actually lost money on an order. If instead you have that same $80 order value, but you now make $60 profit on that, all of a sudden then you've just tripled the amount you can spend to acquire a customer. So margin is another part of this. And I think I said this in a session last week, but if you just run some real simple numbers, let's say you had $30, and let's say you sold your products for $30, you made $7.50 profit per order. If instead you just up the price of your product to then be $37.50, that additional $7.50 becomes pure profit, it becomes your margin. So you've increased your product price by about 20%, but you've doubled your profit margin. So 20% increase, double profit margin, double what I can spend to acquire a customer profitably. So yeah, price point your products, increase in prices, negotiating with suppliers, stuff like that is all going to have an impact on what you can do to increase your margin. But obviously that's, obviously I've said here earlier, increasing your order value, that's all good, but your margin, you want to have the biggest margin there possible. So I'm going to open up for some Q&A now. Hopefully that was helpful. If any of you guys want me to dive in further detail about those things in more detail in a future session, we can definitely sort of do that. But I want you guys, before the weekend here, one more day until the weekend, I want you guys going away, not just thinking about, you've gone away this week, hopefully, and started working on your strategy, you're working on your creatives, you've pulled those really big levers. Well, now the lever I want you to be thinking about is going to be some of the external stuff as well. Because if you can move all those levers at once, you're going to get more out of your results. Okay, cool. Let's open up for some Q&A then. So we've got Michael, how's it going? Shall I unmute?
Yes. Hello.
How are we doing, Michael? How are you? I can hear you fine.
Well, good. Okay, well, thanks for all your help and feedback you basically gave me on the project I'm working on. So let's transition and tell me how I can give an irresistible offer in travel without showing them they can have their money back if they don't like the trip, because they'll all say they won't like it, but they won't.
Yeah,
what happens there?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think there's a couple of ways that you can do it. It doesn't always have to be a guarantee, right? Because guarantees can be risky, and it's not always about just saying you can, especially with something like you do, where there's a lot of cost attached to it. So if you go spend all that money and then they want their money back, you've not just given profit back, you've lost money, right? So you've got to be really careful. Perhaps, maybe there's that you can tie people up in crazy terms of service contracts where it's like they have to just jump through a million hoops to get any kind of refund, which is like a popular way to do it, but it's still just a bit like, I don't love that approach. The other option you've got though is just, I even think something like for you, like you've got, is it $99 deposit or something like that? That's
right.
Yeah. So $99 deposit is, for me, that's still a really good offer, right? It's like you can pay 99 down, and then you can split your payment, and you're cheap, and you're already at the most affordable thing, like one of the most affordable options compared to some of your competitors. That has the makings of an irresistible offer already, because you're literally saying you pay, maybe it's a refundable deposit, maybe, or something. Maybe that's a bit too risky, but you could do refundable deposit. Maybe you could make that, I don't know. We actually work with a travel company right now where we experimented. To be honest, we actually don't know the results yet because we've not got to the point where the trips are being fulfilled. They're actually for next summer. So they work with, it's like Southeast Asia travel. So a lot of that is like sort of tail end of next year that they'll do these trips. But we're even experimenting right now with a $1 deposit option. And the idea there is like, it's $1, right? So it's like no money, but it's barely any money, but they transact the value with you. So we're getting all of these people that are coming through and doing that. And then the idea is they have to pay their additional deposit at a later date. So you get tons of people in on $1 now, and then because it's still 12 months out, they then pay their full deposit in say 6 months, but they secure their spot today for $1. That is then like an irresistible offer because it's like $1 to secure your spot on the Safari kind of thing. So I actually think you've got the makings of it there. Maybe you just need to think about how you're positioning that $99 deposit and how you're positioning the split payments for that. Because I even think 10 payments of X dollars for a Safari becomes really interesting then, right? So yeah, something along those lines is what's appealing to me, I would say right now for you.
That actually works because, you know, if it's a year away, it can be 12 months as well. Well, effectively, as long as they finish paying like 90 days before. So depending on how far out the trip is, that really determines the number of payments they have.
Yeah.
And that's our construct.
Yeah, so it could be from as little as X dollars a month, you know, from as little as $99 a month or something. You know, I mean, again, you could work out what the average sort of cost of your Safaris are. And then let's say you average that based off of a 10-month out order, you know, 12-month out, you could say from as little as, you know, X dollars per month in payment, in a 0% payment plan.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Okay.
Awesome. Some food for thought for you there anyway.
Yeah, as if I didn't have enough, but I appreciate it.
It's that's the life of a business owner, I'm afraid. It never stops.
I don't mind. You've been really helpful. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Carolyn, notice you got your hand up there.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You had done 3 training sessions of the last meetings we had with you. Where can I access them to like watch them again over the weekend?
Yeah.
I think you mentioned, but I'm still a little new to Slack and navigating around that form.
I will I'll make a note now. I've added you to it. You should have got an email from, it's called Kajabi. So it's Kajabi. You would have got an email for that. I will bump you the email after the session though, so that will come back through. And you basically create an account, and then you'll just see there's a module section, and there are all the lessons in there, so you can just click replay on all of them.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. And one question: in creating a brand new ad with 3 ad sets, it's important to start them at the same time, correct?
I think if you're doing it, it doesn't, as long as they're all spending similar amounts, you don't necessarily have to. But yeah, I mean, I would be running them against each other at the same time. It makes for a fairer test. Absolutely.
Okay, so do run them against each other?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So different budget for each one then, or the same budget?
If you can do the same budget, that would be fairer, right? Because if you've got $50 a day across 5 and you put them all on $10, at the end of the week, you're going to be able to compare across the same 7-day period with the same, same audiences with the same spend. How did they perform? So you've got a much fairer test then.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Matic, do you want to jump on?
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great, thanks.
Quick question about conversion rate.
Yeah.
Checking columns in Ads Manager, but I can't find it. It's like only conversion rate ranking inside.
It'll be on your website, that one. So you go to your website and be able to look at the conversion rate of that.
Okay,
so,
on analytics, okay.
On analytics, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have Google Analytics, but the results are not accurate. I don't know what to do else. We tried everything, but
yeah,
they're not accurate. So,
what's your site on? Is it WooCommerce?
Yes, WooCommerce.
Yeah, I can't say I'm as familiar with WooCommerce, but Shopify has a dashboard option, an analytics dashboard, and it tells you straight there like the website conversion rate. So you should be able to have a little look for that.
Yeah, but I can also calculate it on here, link clicks divided by purchases, or
that will be just from ads. So the thing is obviously you really want to look at your conversion rate just in general of your site. So if people have like repeat visited, or if people have come in from Google Ads or other platforms or organic, like the idea there is to just look at your conversion rate sort of in general.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the only thing I will mention, actually, just a quick pointer on this. This is for everyone, because one thing I forgot to mention. when you're looking at your website conversion rate, just remember, if you guys have been running stuff like traffic campaigns or like optimize for stuff like landing page views, things like that, it's really going to distort your website conversion rate. Because as I've said before, you want to optimize for things like if you want to purchase, you want to tell Facebook, I want to optimize for sales. I actually had a session yesterday with Tobias, and I think we looked at this, and I think some of the ads were looking like they had really great
now it's
click-through
ringing
rates, stuff like
also
that.
in my head it makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense, because it's our video workshop, like such a shitty conversion rate on mouse flow, but we optimized, as you said, on just like page views and not conversions.
Yeah, exactly that. So essentially what's going to happen is, I said, we went through stuff like outbound click-through rate and stuff like that in some of last week's sessions. Those softer metrics are going to look way better on your ads. So like your click-through rates are going to look higher, your cost per clicks are going to look cheaper. All of that stuff's going to look better, but then they're going to get through to your website and you're going to get no sales, and your conversion rate on your site's just going to be really bad. So just something to be mindful of there. Matik, I don't know if you obviously wanted to carry on, if you had any more questions, but I just wanted to jump in there and mention that for everyone. Just if you are running traffic campaigns, stop that and then run conversion rate campaigns. Then after 30 days, have a look at what your website conversion rate is before sort of making too much of a decision there.
Yeah, that's basically it. I calculated now from Ads Manager is 6%, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, solid.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Michelle, you want to jump on?
Hiya, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So tracking the leads, so we can track. Yeah, I'll write it down. I'm good at tracking. So from the Facebook ad to the landing page, and then it goes to a Google sheet. But then after that, it's not so good because it's on a Google sheet.
Yeah, sure.
Is there a way that I can track without manually inputting?
Yeah, I mean, what's the full funnel process right now? So they go from Facebook to a landing page. They put the contact information and become a lead, right?
Yeah, and then I'll contact them. Call them, and they book a quote, and then that's where it stops. But I kind of need to put in if they've booked a quote and gone ahead.
And then, so I suppose for you, the numbers there that you want to look at is from how many people that you actually quote end up converting. So it's like almost what's on average, if I quote 10 people, I'm going to get 7 customers, for example. So how many people that I quote then convert? Then it's going to be from how many people that I get on the phone with that actually answer, end up booking a quote.
Yeah.
Then how many people that I call end up just like not answering at all. So like you can create your no-show rates on those calls compared to the show rates. And then from the landing page, from when they become a lead, you call 100% of people. So that's fine. So yeah, I mean, those are the main ones that you want to quote. So like those 4 stats or whatever it is. Initially you might have to use something like, because if you're manually picking up the phone and calling, the only thing is a lot of CRMs you can track this with a lot of CRMs. So I know stuff like Pipedrive and that have, I think they're called.
How would that track that though? Would I have to manually put that in?
So you can actually create, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're called like internal call systems or something like that. But basically you can have a phone number, like an actual like call. You can call people inside of like a CRM. So with Pipedrive, you can click call and it phones them in the CRM. So it comes up like a phone number and rings them. So then first of all, that documents all the activity. So it just you can get a report at the end of the month. You called 200 people, for example. Yeah. It will tell you how many of those answered. And then obviously if you track on your CRM, which ones you booked calls with, which ones didn't, at the end of the month, you can just generate a report in a few clicks that says X amount of people got quote, X amount closed, X amount of people no-showed, I called X amount of people. And rather than you doing it all in a Google sheet, just by you going through the motions of doing the activities, you should be able to go and generate a report. So most of these CRMs will do that. I don't know what you use right now.
I use Google Sheets and I do it all manually. So but I think you can do text messages. I'm sure I saw one that you can do send text
Yeah.
messages through and it'll track it all in the
you can do that.
CRM. They're
Yep.
quite pricey though.
I don't think Pipedrive's too bad. I know HubSpot is. HubSpot is, I've got a friend that works in sales, and I think he said he was paying like, I don't know, $20 a month or something like that. And then they upgraded to the business version and it was like $1,000 a month. So I think that's fairly expensive. But Pipedrive, I believe, is like, I think it's like £19 a month or £20 a month. And then if you add on like the call add-ons, it's only like a smaller monthly cost. It's only probably like £30 or £40 a month, something like that. So it's not horrendous, to be honest. But I can't talk on some, I know we've only used Pipedrive internally, so I can't talk on some of the others, but I don't think that's too badly priced.
Okay. And then if they were to like go ahead, I'd have to manually put in that, and then that'd give me that conversion rate at the end of the month, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. So you can put them into drag and drop them into one deal, and then it will basically then it will produce all your one deals. But even external to that, I mean, that would be mega helpful for you, because let's say you said, again, I don't know your business as well as you, but let's say you said, you know, I want to go after all of my customers and ask them all for a review. And it's like, oh God, how do I get all my customer information? Well, simple. Go to your CRM, filter all one deals. Boom, there's a list, all your customers. I can call them all up. I can email them. I can send, like with Pipedrive and that as well, you can mass email. So you could basically create a list of all your previous customers, email them, hey, I'm looking for some reviews. Do you mind sending me one? Like the whole process of you following up current customers, following up your pipeline, reporting, because you do it in a CRM, just becomes so much easier for yourself. So I'd definitely be looking at that.
Yeah, it's setting it up. It's a bit understanding the lingo.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Well, if you do go ahead with something like Pipedrive, I've got a decent amount of experience with that, so I'd be happy to help you on that, to be honest.
Okay.
But I can't, you know, a lot of them are all the same anyway, but I've just never used some of the other ones.
Right. Okay, I'll look into it again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Robert, how's it going? Do you want to jump on?
Yeah, it's doing great. Thanks. Just a quick question, sort of maybe two-part question.
Yeah.
When running a conversion campaign, do you tend to just leave placements alone, like let Facebook do advantage placements?
Yeah, we like to do that. So usually if we're running, the only time we wouldn't is if we are running, well, two times. If we're running like story style content that's like only 9x16, like obviously we'll only do like story placements. So there's one time. And then if we're ever running anything like Ben's like omnipresent style approach, or if we're doing like awareness campaigns, the problem is if you do that, it's going to prioritize the cheaper placements. So it's going to like chuck you in right column and it doesn't have an impact. Okay. For conversions though, we like to leave it on auto, because Facebook's number one goal is to get you a sale. So it thinks, the way it thinks is, I might actually be able to pick up a really cheap purchase here in right column. So I'm going to put it in right column. So we've actually looked at stats before, and a lot of our clients, like our highest ROAS columns and our cheapest cost per purchase column, placements often simply be things like right column and stuff like that. So yeah, we like to keep it on.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's exactly what I thought, versus like those reach campaigns or traffic campaigns where you're just looking for clicks. So that begs the other question. When it comes to writing the copy, the headline is always basically, you know, it's that there's 17 placements, right? And like, I don't have like an entire team to look after this stuff, but there's the headline and there's the description.
Yeah.
Those are really the two places for it. You prioritize for the headline.
Yeah. Headline's
the
most
description.
important.
Yeah. The description occurs on some placements, but not everywhere, obviously.
Yeah. To be honest, this is back to a lot of what we've spoken about in this group already. This is why creative is the most important, because like, you know, and I was even, you know, I don't really use social media at all, to be honest, but I like for work purposes, even though I was like, right, I want to just go on and like act as a consumer on Instagram a second and just see like what ads are stopping me. And like when I'm on Instagram Explore page, like you don't even see the copy, headline, description, anything. You only see creative, right? So it's like if there's no text overlay on that image explaining the product, well, I don't know what it is, and I'm going straight past it, right? So yes, headline, description. It really, the most important is just back to creative is just number one. Those things are going to have such a small dent on like what increases conversions compared to that.
And why I wanted to ask that question is because there's been an emphasis on the angles, right? You've been about angle and creative. They're sort of separate, but they're joined at the hip. So I guess what that does is that speaks to having a text overlay on your creative, right? So then your angle and your creative can be in the same place, something like that.
Absolutely. We're trying to find the balance right now of like cramming as much into creatives as possible without taking it away. We're sort of, the golden rule is you don't really want any more than sort of 3 core elements of a creative, to be completely honest. It's like a good general rule of thumb. So like,
say it again.
You don't really want more than 3. So on an image creative, sorry. So on like a single image creative, you'd ideally not want more than 3 like main focal points. So for example, if you had like, let's say it was an image of somebody wearing a jacket. So that's the one focal point. Then like a text overlay, and maybe in the bottom corner, you've got like a featured in Vogue or whatever, right? So you wouldn't then want to have a 4th because it just detracts from it. Ideally, like sort of 2 would be good, but we're experimenting right now with some clients where we're almost having like text overlay and then adding like maybe a smaller subheading on the overlay as well to test the impact of that.
Oh, I like
so
that.
like, because then you can get, again, you're getting more across in the same section, but you don't want to like, it's a balance, because you don't want to just make the image look terrible and you don't want to bloat it out too much. So obviously it's a fine line, but yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Robert. Raffin, how are we doing? You want to jump on?
We're good. How are you?
How are you, man? Did I get your name right this time? I don't know. Is the N pronounced or not?
Absolutely. You got it right with your version.
Love it. How can I help, man?
Yeah, just because we've sort of talked about this before, and you're talking a lot about like running for campaigns for the purchase optimization.
Yeah.
But if I want to send customers to come to my store, what is your recommendation for doing that? Yeah,
like you could definitely do like your probably best bet would even be something like a local awareness campaign, honestly, because it's going to be the cheapest way that you're going to, like, do you mean your physical store? Sorry, right? Just to make sure I'm aligned.
Yeah, so basically what my question is about and why I would argue against using the awareness campaign is like I've explained to you, like there's kind of 2 sides to my business. So the Icelandic market, and then we're situated like sort of downtown, in Reykjavik, but we're like off the main street. So I get so many people coming to my store looking for swimwear.
Yeah, sure.
And most of these people are just gonna find us on Google, because I've done a pretty good job on the SEO, and like there's not much competition here for this. But I want to at least give it more of a try, especially now that I've learned more about the creatives. So, but like Facebook has obviously removed this location setting that you can only advertise to tourists. But I have some good ideas on just like circling like 1 kilometer out of the main airport here. And just the main street where all the tourists are.
I think that's a good idea. What's the concern? So what's the concern about awareness specifically?
I've just generally not thought that the awareness campaign has worked really well, but I don't know, maybe on the other hand, like if I want to reach as many people as possible, maybe that is.
So I think the separation there is really important, because what we want to do is separate out the shop, like the e-commerce store, to actual physical store into the 2 campaigns. And I would say for your physical store, for your online shop, like purchase campaigns, conversion-based campaigns, for your people coming in store to actually visit, I think the cheapest way that you're going to get in front of those people is going to be awareness. And if you can have a wide range of creatives in there that appeal to the different types of people that are going to come there, you can really, especially if you run if you do brand awareness over reach. Brand awareness compared to reach is just that it will show somebody an ad multiple times. So reach is, I want to reach as many different people. Brand awareness, it will see, I think this person's going to like my ad more, so I'm going to show them it multiple times. So if you have multiple creative variations on brand awareness for the pinpoint locations that you're targeting, you're not only going to be able to reach them the cheapest, but you're also going to be able to get the multiple different styles of messaging in front of them. It would just be about how you track that, which becomes very difficult. But as long as if you're seeing an increased footfall, you're seeing increased revenues, and also perhaps you could try certain codes in the ads that are like, hey, if you come in store, you know, and you just, you know, tell me code XYZ, I'll give you a discount. Do you know what I mean? Like, there might be ways that you can sort of attribute it, but I personally think that will make more sense. I wouldn't recommend that for your online store. I think we need to do conversions, but for your local store, I would say it's worth giving that another shot. Now you know what you know about creatives. I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, because I really felt like the reach campaigns, even with the Omni content, they've really not worked that well. But then again, maybe the offer and the creative just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Was it reach though? Then was it? You said.
Well, I did try awareness campaign once though, but that also was just not working very well.
It might be creatives though, right? Maybe we're thinking it's the reach, but maybe it's the creatives that could have been the thing. So, and that's what I like about the awareness approach as well, is if we can set multiple creatives there, like it could just be that the creative didn't hit, but if we're stuck, because like you said, you've got Icelandic market, you've also got tourists. Well, the beautiful thing is, because awareness campaigns are so cheap, we can create tons of different messaging to both markets. Like you said, maybe the airport market becomes, you know, the people around the airport become more like touristy based style ads. Maybe the more local based downtown style ones become more to locals. But yeah, I think that's the best approach. I think that's the way we go down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't sort of sort these out because Facebook has removed this option, but like,
yeah,
so like, and because like Icelandic people are mainly gonna like their default language on their browsers is going to be in English, so I can't even kind of separate these two languages. So like I'm kind of forced to just run ads in English towards Icelandic people as well, and like there's nothing I can do about it basically.
Yeah, it becomes hard. That becomes hard. But by the only good thing about the reach campaigns is they are affordable. So hopefully you're gonna, by default, you're gonna be reaching a lot of, you might be reaching some people that aren't the best fit, but you're going to reach some people that are as well. So
okay, then I can get started with that at least.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Chris, how are you?
Hey Bradley, how you doing this morning? Or I guess it's not morning where you're at.
This evening. How are you?
I'm doing fine today. I have sort of an off-topic question, but it's on creative.
Yeah.
I found a successful creative that has a strong ROAS, and it's based off of humor. And I just wanted to know your thoughts on the life cycle for a humor ad. I figure it probably doesn't run like a standard ad. I'm assuming the life cycle is more short. What do I have to expect with a meme ad being so successful?
Not necessarily. We have an ad. I can give you an example right now. We've got multiple ads actually, but we've done like more fun style stuff. Less of a meme. This one. This was more of a fun, less funny, more just fun. We had a client that sells coffee beans, and there was a cat that was trying to get in the coffee beans, and it was like, coffee so good, even the cat wants some. And we've been running that one ad for maybe close to 2 years, and it's still working. So if that gives you any confidence, they can have a good life cycle. It's just, you know, the honest thing is, if it relates to your ideal customer, then what's the difference between that and say a conversion problem solution ad? If they all find that same humor, you know, if it's relatable, then there's no difference to the size of audience. So there shouldn't be too much difference to why it converts.
That's really reassuring. That's great. I don't know if I have that kind of creativity again in me for a while. So.
You have, my man. You've definitely got something there. I reckon the thing is the best thing you can do is just it's probably a really valuable exercise. I know I sent Ed a couple of ads across that I found those in about 5-10 minutes on the ads library. Just be really beneficial for you to spend an hour or so just really, I spent 5 minutes and found a few good ones. If you spend an hour just like diving into Ad Library, you'll probably find some really good stuff. And it doesn't even have to be related to what you're selling. Like it could be, like I said, a funny cat-based one for a coffee business. Well, you could take the sort of formula from that and put it to yours, maybe in the way it was worded, maybe in the style of joke. And another little trick for you, ChatGPT, it will give you great ideas. Here are some ad copies about a sleep pillow. Write me some funny ad copy. And it will, like, I was showing some of the team some stuff in it like the other day, and we were saying like, how can we get experimental with ad copy? And it was absolutely horrendous. But I said, write me an outbound cold email to a coffee business for marketing services. And it was like something like, I can't wait to brew up a partnership. Like, your return on ad spend is about to get seriously caffeinated. And it's like, like that's ChatGPT. So just ask it for some funny hooks. See what it gives you.
That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Marina, do you want to jump on?
Hi.
Hiya.
Have you ever increased your profit margin on items and then it didn't work? And what did you do when that happens? Do you keep it at the higher price and then offer other incentives, or did you actually lower the price back down?
To be completely honest, I actually can't, and I'm not saying this is because it's never happened. I just can't think off the top of my head a time where we've increased price and that hasn't worked. I suppose that's probably because we've done the testing to the point where we realize maybe price might be the issue and then done it after the fact. And it's tend to always been like a good judgment call. But to answer the question, if you've tested it and it doesn't work, then I would drop it down. But remember, price increase doesn't always have to be price increase of product. It could be creating a bundle or creating a package-based offer or adding more value to the same product to be able to increase the prices. It doesn't always have to just be a strict price increase. So there's stuff you can experiment with there. But yeah, if it's not worked, then you can resort it back down.
May I ask one more question?
Absolutely. Of course, you can ask as many as you want.
So as you know, my Shopify store just went live yesterday, so I haven't sold anything yet. Hopefully we'll start running ads next week.
Exciting.
Hopefully somebody will buy one of my products. Is it good? Like, let's just say somebody loves 2 of my products. Like, that's it. 2 items are selling and they're selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing in the sense of like, then just worry about those 2 products and push those out, maybe increase more? I mean, this is a hypothetical, nothing's happening. Yeah. Or is it one of those things, well, Marina, you have 30 products on your store. We want each of those to do well. Or if it's like, no, you got 2 winners. That's great. Yeah. Just keep pushing that. How does that work in the future? Do you know?
Well, if it makes you put more at ease, we've got clients that do 7 figures a month in revenue that sell 1 product. So like we've got a client right now that sells 1 product on their website, no add-ons, no upsells, nothing. And they do about £1 million to 1.5 million pound a month in revenue. So absolutely. The answer is, most businesses have bestsellers. Most businesses have hero products. So what we usually do, if we're taking on a client, we won't worry about all of the products. We will literally ask you, okay, what are your best sellers? Okay, these 3 are my best sellers. Cool. We're going to start running ads to these because it's the surefire way to generate faster results. And so for you, like one of the best things you'll probably find is obviously you've probably watched a lot of these sessions, been in on them, and it's like we're speaking about angle testing, all this stuff. Well, for you, before you get into angle testing, you really want to do almost like product testing. So your idea is, I want to find exactly what you said, 1 or 2 products that work. I'm going to go all in on those 1 or 2 products. Once I then get profitability with that, we can then start to test other stuff, or we can then, if you know that 1 product does really, really, really well, well, maybe you can find another product that's different but fairly similar, and the chances are that's probably also going to do well because it's a variation of an already successful product. So you only, like I said, you only need 1 or 2 products for this to be successful. And if I was you, I'd probably start with testing different products against each other first, finding that winner, and then going all in on it.
Okay. And do you ever send people just to, because like, let's say it's a t-shirt, the link click is directly to that only t-shirt. Do you ever do it where the link click goes to actually, let's say, my home page? Like, do you ever test that, or do you always just want to send it to the exact product the person is looking at on the ad?
So for something like a t-shirt, you always really want to send that straight to product page. The times where you might like not, so for example, you've just seen Chris that was just on then Chris and Ed sell like a sleep pillow. So we spoke about that with them. It's like we could send people straight to product page, but then some people need a little bit of educating on what the technology is, how it works. So sometimes, you know, we might test here actually sending people straight through to we might test sending people straight to like an education or about us page or how it works page, just to warm them up. But that's usually on something that needs a little bit more explaining, maybe something a bit higher ticket. So for you, don't waste any time, straight to sales page.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Michelle, have you got your hand up there?
Well,
oh, I think you're muted. Hang on, let me.
Sorry,
that's all right.
Me.
Oh, good.
So two other questions. We have different Facebook accounts, but the same business, but different areas.
Okay.
Can I use the same ad account?
So it's the same business, but targeting 2 locations, right?
Yeah. So we've got what was it? Shut Up Shutters Bucks and Shut Up Shutters Kent.
Okay.
But I've not actually done anything with the pages. But if I wanted to start advertising, should I use the same ad account that I'm using for?
Yeah, I would, yeah. Just keep it simple, because I would just separate the locations out by campaign. So if you've got like maybe a retargeting campaign for Kent and a top of funnel campaign for Kent, then you just do a top of funnel campaign for the other one and a retargeting campaign. So just keep it all in one place, keeps it nice, simple, organized. There's no need to have multiple ad accounts or anything like that. I understand maybe having 2 pages if it's got the name of the location in the title, but even then, like, I mean, I actually live in the UK, but my geography of UK is horrendous. Like, is that close to each other? Are we talking like, you know, is it?
So Bucks, how far away is Bucks, Chris, from us? Buckinghamshire. It's not far, is it? 70 miles, so it's not far. So should I just scrap them pages?
Well, maybe have one, because all I'm thinking is like you're separating your page engagement, your followers, you're separating your page likes, you're separating a lot of things out. So if you had both ads running from the same page, like some of those people will go on and like your page and follow you. Yeah. So you're going to build more trust and authority by having the one page. So I can see why you've separated them out, but I don't necessarily think you have to be honest. Definitely not the ad account. I'd keep that in one.
Right. Okay. Because I've not done anything with the pages, so I might just it's just more work, isn't it? Really. Yeah.
Just simplify it. Simplicity scales, right? So just have one.
Yeah. Okay. And the next question is to do with the website. Where is it? The events and conversions and coding on the website. Yeah. So the other the ads manager guy that we was using, we had some coding on, but I don't know if that was to do with the pixel.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. Yeah,
it was in the header.
Yeah, is that working out? Is that on just the Shut Up Shutters website, or is that on a separate landing page? Or
maybe because it was a different landing page.
Because I know the one that I looked at before in the ad account was on a separate landing page, wasn't it? Are you still using that one or not? Are you going straight to homepage now, or what are you doing?
No, so I have a lead pages landing page.
Okay.
And I think is that set up? I don't know. I don't know if that's tracking or not.
So I'm happy to, if you want, I can sort of have a look for you later on. I've got obviously access to your account, and I don't mind having a quick look and seeing if it's all set up. Do you mind sending me, if you send me in direct message, just the link to the like the actual landing page? I'll track if it's got I'll check if it's got the tracking set up. If not, I'll be able to give you some give you some sort of guidance on that. Be relatively simple to do. If not, something like lead pages will be straightforward.
Yeah. So would it be easier if I got rid of lead pages and just create a landing page in the website? Can you do that?
You can do. I mean, what's your website built on?
WordPress.
WordPress, yeah, it's relatively simple. The thing is with something like lead pages, the idea behind it is like they create simple landing pages, so it's like straight to the point. So it's like you come on, contact information, boom, straight through. So simplicity helps with conversion rates. Right. So it's just whether you've got the time to go in and then worry about then setting that up all again on WordPress.
Oh, okay.
It's easier to probably have that set up on.
Yeah, it's quite simple. It's quite straight to the point than the lead pages one. So I'll probably just leave that then. So there's no issues having that. No.
No, it'd be fine. You can have multiple. Okay. You can have the same pixel on multiple places. That's fine.
Right. Okay. So I'll send you. What did you need me to send you? The link for the
lead page, just like the landing page, if you can. So not your main website, but the actual landing page that's on lead pages.
Right. Okie doke. Right. Okay.
All right.
Will do. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Carolyn?
Yes. One question. Your thoughts or experience with abandoned carts. What do you think that could be about? I've had sales after, so I know it's not a shipping profile issue, but what do you think?
Yeah, so I can go and have a look. So there's a couple of things, sometimes this is where your retargeting campaigns, first of all, are going to be important, because abandoned checkouts are very common. So it's about, if somebody's got to the point where they're ready to take action and don't, oftentimes that could just be a bit of doubt or I don't need that. If they then get an ad a day later that's like, hey, 10% off your order if you check out now, that might be the tipping point to get them across. So that's why retargeting ads are really powerful. And then I can have a look in your account as well if you like, and just look at the numbers, because if they're really high, then it might be something to do with the ads. If not, then we can maybe just assume that we just need to plug the hole with our retargeting ads, and that should solve the issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Cool. Raffin, do you want to jump on again?
Yeah, that would be great. Just to continue with a little bit with the question I had.
Yeah.
So I just went into my ad account and I see that finally Facebook has added this, what I've been waiting for, the Advantage Plus audience.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Which I think could be really good for my account in general. But regarding this campaign that we were talking about, I have two questions.
Yeah.
Do you think using dynamic creative would be a good option for that one, or just
for awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just do all that on dynamic. Just keep it in one. That would be simple. Maybe just do though. Just to separate the languages. If you're going to separate, say, if you are going to have some in like Icelandic and some in English, then maybe just separate those two out. But besides that, I would put them all in dynamic. It would just be nice and easy. Yeah.
And run those. You generally wouldn't run these on Advantage Plus placements, would you?
The awareness one's probably not, because it's probably going to put it all in like right column and stuff like that. So I'd probably do if you can do it in manual, I would test Advantage Plus in your conversion campaigns, but then for your awareness campaigns, I'd probably do just standard dynamic creative and do manual placements and just chuck it on feeds and stories.
Feeds and stories,
yeah.
And then regarding the question regarding this new feature that I had, the Advantage Plus placement, I just had like a thought process in my head, because now like everyone basically that comes to Iceland, they go to the Blue Lagoon. So having that in there, do you think it might be an advantage running an awareness campaign, or do you think it's best to just go broad?
So how, I know you're not on the tourism board of Iceland, so you might not know, but like, what percentage of people would you say are going to the lagoon? Like loads, is that what it's like from the customers that come in and buy your product? Are like most of them going to the lagoon? Is that like the common trend?
Yeah.
Then throw it in.
I was just wondering, like, have these people like actually like their Facebook page? Is it better for me to put it in there or just leave it out?
Honestly, in this instance, because you've been struggling to get traction, I don't mind narrowing down audiences, because we can always broaden up after the fact. I would definitely be throwing that in there 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the budget as well, of course. But like, I'm just thinking with the awareness campaign, like if Facebook starts with these audiences that I've defined and then starts reaching out like a bit further, if it's a good idea. But you think it's a good idea to just I could stack a few interests like, I don't know, swimming, swimwear, the Blue Lagoon, other lagoons that we have here. Do you think that might be a good idea?
I think that's a good idea. Just be mindful of so what will be good is just looking at the audience size as well. But realistically, with an awareness campaign, it doesn't matter if it's actually a smaller audience, because it's going to just showcase them your products, because it's not reach, it's awareness. It will show them the multiple ads anyway. So I don't mind if it's a little bit of a smaller audience. So you're saying about stacking them. I don't even mind if it's just like Blue Lagoon and some other lagoons. I probably wouldn't worry about like swimming based interest, because it's not, you don't even have to be into swimming to go to Lagoon. It's more of a touristy thing. So I would probably just do the, like maybe Blue Lagoon and maybe, like you said, some of the other lagoons in the area.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thanks a lot.
Great stuff. Awesome. All right, then, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. If anybody has any questions after the fact, go ahead and just drop me a direct message. Obviously,
Brad, sorry. Can I chime in?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I joined in a bit late today. I
just
have
fine.
2 quick questions.
Yeah, of course.
I thought I'm going to check in. So I now have one more reel apart from the 2 that I've shared with you. I have final edited versions of 3 reels. I'm going to add some text. I'm going to share that with you on DM. I'm hoping to start advertising them tomorrow. So I just wanted to know what kind of targeting. So normally I just wanted to run down what kind of targeting that I've really run, so that you could then perhaps advise on what would be the best way. So normally I've done a fairly bit open, in the sense that I leave the gender open.
Yeah.
So I've tried with gender open and only women as well. There hasn't been enough data for me to know if there is really an impact of that one factor. Age as well, I try and leave it wide, although I can narrow it down maybe from 20 onwards. But I feel now it's not required, because I feel Meta can do that. Yeah. And in terms of interests, I've gone quite a few different ways. So in terms of interests, I've done jewelry, because that's a category specific directly. That's something that we've seen at times works. There's also another thing that we did is picking out artists. So singers or actors or actresses, right? As interests, again, we've had sometimes some really good results. Last year when we ran some campaigns on the artist targeting, we got a lot of conversions there.
Okay.
And the third one we have done is lookalike, but lookalikes not given me a lot of conversions.
Yeah, so my thoughts straight away here, and again, this is me just piecing together from what is working with our clients at the minute. Age range, I think I completely agree with you. I think you can just let Facebook do the work there, unless it's like only people in this age range are going to buy my product. Like it's like, then you can narrow. If not, keep it broad, because Facebook will just find the people for you. Gender, I actually think that if you find that more women buy your products than male, then it could make sense for you to narrow that down, just to give it a bit of direction. But I can
95% of my audience, my purchases are women.
Okay, so then I would narrow down to that then, okay? Because it's still going to be a large audience size. You're just giving it a little bit of direction, okay? And bear in mind, long when you've got tons of data in your ad account, really profitable, loads of sales, I would just recommend just going completely open. But I don't mind going a bit more narrow in the beginning, because you give Facebook a bit of direction, okay? If you've noticed good results with the jewelry, I don't mind that. I also just think Advantage Plus as well. So I don't know if you've tested Advantage Plus yet, but I would give that a go. So Advantage Plus at the minute is like, it's I don't know if you guys have got all the ads, but I get so many ads from Meta for Advantage Plus. They're really pushing it, because they're like, this is the next big thing. We're still seeing fairly mixed results on some of our clients. Like some of our clients, it's just not working great, but on other of our clients, it's crushing. So just, it might be worth testing that as well.
So I've tested a lot of Advantage Plus campaigns. I've had 2 sets of results. One is I get fabulous results for a period of time, and it will really perform, give me like cost per acquisition is incredible. It will perform very well, and for a period of time, and then it just stops performing. I have no reason why, but it just stops performing. Okay. And then there is a set of advantage. So when I started, so I've taken a bit of a break in June and July. When I started back in August, September, my first campaign, which was an Advantage Plus on 4th September, did incredibly well. I scheduled 1 or 2 campaigns after that. They still did well. But after mid-September, later part of September, even in October, I ran campaigns where one of them has performed, like not even a single sale out of any A+ campaigns. But I'm happy to try them because I have had a bit of a gap between my last ad to now. It is a possibility it will work.
I think that could be, though, less about Advantage Plus and more about Creative C. So now you've got new creatives that are a different style. The life cycle of that might be longer. So I think the reason it dropped off is less because of Advantage Plus and more because of the creative maybe reached the people that it was going to get results with and then sort of dipped off. So I would, if you've had immediate early results with that in the past, my gut would say start with Advantage Plus with the new creatives. Try that, and then if it does dip off again, or if it doesn't do as well, then go to I'd probably do you said you had good results with the actors and then the jewelry, then I would just stack those up together and try a stacked interest. I wouldn't waste too much time on lookalikes. Lookalikes tend to work well when you create them from, we found the only way we're really having success with it at the minute is when it's like a client that's got tons of sales and then we create a lookalike of sales. We tend to find creating lookalikes of web visits or social media followers don't really do as well anymore. So, because you've not got tons of data, I probably wouldn't waste your time, to be honest.
All right. So I think this is what I was discussing with Ben. Also, let me know if this is a good idea. Running 3 separate ads campaigns. One targeted, let's say 1 Advantage Plus with the new set of 3. So I've got 1 more reel. I'll be sharing it with you. So you've got 3 reels now to go. So maybe testing them like an Advantage Plus ad with those 3 reels. So that's 1 ad. The second is catalog has always performed well. So I want to try a version of that series. So should I do like an interest phase or should I do Advantage Plus for that? What do you recommend?
I would probably, if you're I would do whatever you're doing in the other one in that. So like if you're doing Advantage Plus in your other, match it with Advantage Plus, because then it's just a bit more of a fair test as well for you to see results against each other. So if you're going to do Advantage Plus, duplicate that over and do the same again.
All right. I also now saw a lot of single images that I thought maybe I can use as well because of the collabs that I'm doing with influencers. They're also providing me with some individual images which are close-ups of the jewelry. So maybe I could do that and mention on that we have an offer or something about some text on that. So that could be my 3rd set of creative if that's okay. So again, that should be an A+.
Yeah, I think do that in A+, and then I think for you as well is once you see results from whatever variation, because they're all so different. I really like that because like if single image with text overlay does great, you can go away and refine that. If influencer does great, you can test around the hooks, text overlays, get more creators, test more stuff and go from there. So yeah, I like the plan.
All right. And in terms of budget, thus far I've experimented between £15 a day and to £20 a day. Do you reckon I stay consistently on that? Because it's 3 campaigns, should I do £15 a day and see how it performs for a couple of days and then increase it? Is that what you suggest?
So what I'd recommend, I did a session on this last week as well, so it might be worth going back and watching it. I think it was the one I did last Thursday, so a week today actually. So last Thursday. Yes. Ideally, what you would want to do is sort of an ideal budget would be at a minimum. If you can do more, great. But take your sort of break even profit per order. So like your break even CPA. So if that's say $10. You want to ideally take 50% of that as your daily budget. So you minimum of $5 a day, and that's per ad. So for how many ads you've got. So if you've got 3 ads, then ideally $15 a day would be a good starting point. So break even CPA, so like take your order value, cost of goods as a percentage, get that down to a break even CPA, 50% of that, have that as a minimum as sort of your daily budget per ad.
Okay, I'll work that out for sure. Awesome. All right, thanks so much. I'll DM you the creative later today or tomorrow. You have a look at that. Yeah. I'm going to aim to run all 3 Advantage Plus campaigns tomorrow, and hopefully by Monday we'll have some data.
Lovely stuff.
Yes.
Make sure. Yeah, lovely stuff. And make sure you give it at least a week as well to see it's full all the way through.
So the only time that I'm going to be cutting it is if I'm getting 0 results over the next 2 days. If I'm getting very high results, then that's a happy situation. We'll deal with it then. The only time I'm going to cut it is if I'm getting 0 results over, say, the weekend. Then want to, take some action. That's all.
Yeah, I would probably just be, I mean, what I would do is, I mean, you can communicate with me every day anyway. So if there's, before you kill anything, drop me a screenshot, because what I'd like to do is like sort of showcase as well. Like there might be like, if you're getting add to carts but not sales yet, like there might be certain like things we're going to look at to see whether or not like it's trending in the right direction, because it might be, might be some delayed reporting, delayed attribution, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll I'm excited to see how they go for you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
All right.
Cool. All right, guys, I've got to shoot now anyway. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, drop me a direct message and we'll chat again on Monday. See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.